Well, good to be with you this morning as we celebrate this very beautiful feast day. And after having a wonderful weekend, we get ready for Catechetical Sunday. Many people celebrated it this past Sunday because we opened our religious ed and we had 81 students at a confirmation retreat for the afternoon. So it was a wonderful 6-hour journey of faith. And of course, the telethon at the BCTV station, they must be rejoicing and very tired this morning, but most successful for all the wonderful work that they do in bringing Christ to us in so many different ways in evangelization. Today, the gospel is, in this feast day, is so important. We can all identify with the cross. We can identify with it because we bring all our needs and our desires to Christ on the cross every day. And we begin perhaps every morning with the sign of the cross. And we know that the cross represents life, death, and resurrection, the Paschal mystery as we travel from death to new life. And many of our catechetical programs this month will focus on who Jesus is. We've been hearing about it in the scriptures. Who do you say that I am? And today, when we look at the whole gift of our faith and our creed and our desire for God's grace and the Gloria, we know that the cross is what sets us free and brings us the openness to eternal life. Cardinal Dolan in New York wrote a beautiful book several years ago, To Whom Shall We Go? For you have the words of eternal life. And in his book, there's a great chapter on embracing the cross. And I love one of his stories about Padre Pio, St. Padre Pio, that so often people would want to go to Bari. Bari is outside of Rome, to his place of rest, and to visit the village and where he was from. And in his early days, people would say, can we see your wounds from the stigmata? And he did not want to show the wounds to people. And finally, this one person was persistent. I want to see your wounds. And so he showed him the stigmata, the wounds from the cross. And then he looked at the person, he said, show me your wounds. Where are your wounds? And what he was saying to that individual, that we all carry within us, you know, the scars and the disappointments and the pain of suffering. And so he wanted to see his wounds. And this person was overwhelmed. He had come from Anzio, and not too far from where Bari is. And he knew that he struggled during the war, and he had a private story that he shared that he'd been carrying with him since the war. And so God was using that opportunity to reveal himself to us. The beautiful thing today, I think, if you're in a nursing home or a center of prayer or a retreat center, a religious community, or in your own apartment, a condominium, or a residence, or rectory, that today Jesus comes to us so that he can reflect his love to us, that we know him. I love this wonderful story about a religious sister that was in a Alzheimer's unit, and she was looking at the cross. And one of the aides came in and said, can I help you? And she looked at the cross and she said, you know, and she looked right at the cross and she looked at the person and she said, you know, he knows me and I know him. Today we pause in this feast in our Cathedral of the Holy Cross, a very special place for us in the Archdiocese, that we ask the Lord that we may know him. When you look at the cross, can you say, yes, he knows me. He knows my wounds. He knows my desires. Also, in Cardinal Dolan's book, he talks about so often we're tempted like Satan. We've seen these in the readings. Get behind me. Don't tempt me. I have to follow the will of the Father, and I will have to suffer. And of course, Peter, being a good friend, and like so many of us, we don't want people to have to carry crosses. We want to take them away. But by taking the cross away, we lose the opportunity to enter in redemption and to face Christ so that he will truly look into our hearts. So today, wherever you are, is there something in your heart you want Christ to hear? Bring it to him on the cross. Is there another friend or a family or a college student or a relative or friend who's suffering in a relationship that needs a special gift of peace or inner healing? For your own sake, maybe you want to say, well, no, I'm doing so well, I just want to increase my faith. Remember from Sunday, faith without good works and deeds will not lead us into, unless we have those faith, the gift of deeds in Christian service, we won't grow in our faith. So what opportunities this fall can you and I encounter? You might be saying, well, I'm feeble, I'm incapacitated. Just the thoughts in your words, in your heart, will bring you that gift of God's grace. So let us celebrate that today, asking God to show us new ways to celebrate and embrace the cross of eternal life.